Welcome everybody. We're excited to announce FME 2022.0. And
yes,
the theme, what's the theme there, Dale?
we're driving data decisions, Don, and we're fueling innovation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's see if this works. Oh, look at that. And here are the two co-founders. Oh, I've got it on way too big of a monitor, but that's my problem. So I'm Don Murray. I'm one of the co-founders of SAFE.
And I'm Dale Lutz. I'm the other co-founder of SAFE, and we're glad that you're joining us today for at least, we think it's like the 33rd or more time that we've done this, but we're very excited about what we have to bring to you today for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just before we start, we thought it would be fun. It'll also be an icebreaker and give you introduce you to the questions panel. So it would be great if everybody could open the questions panel. And if you've used FME for any time at all, if you could just type in what was your favorite feature that we added over the past few releases, that would be great.
Yes. And Don, while they're doing that, we should mention that we're going to be really doing a lot of talking about different features today, but at the highest level, we've been blown away by the way that all of you are using FME to drive value in your companies. We've been collecting stories for our World Tour about return on investment, and the numbers that we're seeing are just shocking. So we're not going to talk lots about that today, but we know that that's what drives us and that's what gets us up in the morning, and how impressed we are with the amazing results that you're getting using our products, and we're so excited to give you some more tools to drive that even further.
So they're pouring in. Oh, one person likes the schema scanner, Dale.
I'm excited about that, Don. That's your old code brought to life in a transformer.
That's right, and I'm sure it took a lot of work for the team to do that. So and then feature caching, which is really the best thing about feature is on the authoring side, server apps, raster convolver,
So that's a good one. Thanks, Joanna, for mentioning that old favorite.
The automation writer for FME server.
The feature reader and the feature writer, Michael has called out the feature reader. Those two are outrageously powerful in terms of the types of problems they let you solve as well. So it's good to see that too.
Yeah, and it's good to see Adriano on. He's CPU timer dynamic engines. So so welcome. So that's great. So
Don, I just want to flag what Helena said. The live feature count on the as you're running, that it's hard to imagine life without that, and that's the way we used to be. We didn't used to have that, so that's good.
So okay, so thank you
Lastly,
so much.
I'll just say the last one that somebody said was that speed is much better. Speed is better than not speed, Don, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about.
That's right. So here we go. So so the agenda for today, we're going to quickly look at the year in review and FME 2021 and some of the things that we thought were interesting and of note. Then we're going to dive into the spring release highlights and what's new. And last but not least is resources in QA, because this is just part of our discussion. Always reach out to us on your favorite method. Could be info@safe.com or the community or however what works for you. So with that,
we'll just take a brief look at what went on last year. We were very proud of the 2021 release. It really moved the front to all kinds of ways and let all of you do amazing things. We were recognized in the Magic Quadrant of Gartner in terms of being one of the top 20 general purpose data integration tools. Now, I think we're the only one that really can do stuff with a keen emphasis on spatial. The FME Academy, our online training universe, has been very successful, and many of you have worked through that and learned, and we're excited to be partnering with you in that way. And actually, Don, I think that number 16,000 users in the community, I thought I saw on a slide at SAFE in the last couple of days 19,000.
So and this slide deck is only weeks old, so the community is really growing fast. We're really excited about that. If you're not if you're not too familiar with FME, or you've only been using it for a little while, the FME Academy is really like so good. An hour and a half, and it will make you want more. So it's all great. So whoa, what happened there? Okay, that's me. So so this is the Gartner peer reviews. we really would love it if you know, anyone out there would reach out to us and fill out the Gartner peer review insights. Our score was 4.7 out of 5, which was extremely high. It was in fact high enough to be at the top of the consumers or customer's choice. We just didn't have enough reviews. So it's a number of reviews game, and then safe software will be in the customer's choice quadrant. So we'd really we'll really appreciate that. So yeah, so we'll chat out the Elizabeth, could you post the link to Gartner review? Vivian can find that for you. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
So yeah, so our strength, of course, Dale, is you touched on.
Well, we bring the power of spatial data to all your decision making, and we let you integrate that data from wherever it happened to start its life, and let you put it wherever is the most useful for your work. And wow, is there really, Don, a lot of places that could be.
Yeah, absolutely. And more organizations are realizing the power of spatial data, and how if you're making decisions without encapsulating location, you're really, you know, you're really missing the point, Dale.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a really bad joke, but anyway, I like it.
The lat long. You're missing the lat long.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, or the long lat. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so this is our platform we're going to talk about for those who are new. It starts from, you know, where you build these data flows up to integrating applications, up to many different ways to deploy FME server in the cloud, as well as push the power of FME all the way down to your mobile devices, whether that's a phone or a tablet. So wherever you need your data with FME platform, you can get it. And yeah, so yeah. And now,
Drum roll.
oh, yeah, there we go. So the FME 2022.0, powering the flow, you know, oh, sorry, data-driven decisions. Anyway, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. And yeah, do you want to talk about this
Yes.
one, Dale?
So one of the key things that we're seeing as FME is more and more used by the entire enterprise is the need for people to collaborate. So it's no longer a lone wolf kind of exercise where you build your data flow in isolation and deploy it and never involve anybody else in the process. More, there are likely to be many people working together. And if they're going to do that, they need tools like the ability to compare their workflows, much as the programming people can compare code. And so we've created a visual merge for workspaces that we'll get into, and that is really an extremely powerful tool that we think is actually going to, frankly, revolutionize how people author and work together. And so we're very excited about that.
Yeah. And on the server side, we've added the ability for you to see the load on server with server analytics, as well as we've enhanced the ability for you to ensure that your most important jobs, whether they be automations or FME server apps, get the resources. So we've given you lots of new levers there.
On the data quality side, we're pleased to be partnered with Esri to incorporate their reprojection library inside of FME, and we've got the latest version of that, and we're too clever by far here, Don, about taking our data to new heights because we have vertical reprojection in there as well as time, and so we'll get into that. We already mentioned the schema scanner, the ability in this release to really take that to the next level and understand what's going on with your data. And it opens up a whole new set of workflows that let you kind of work at the meta level and create best fit schemas, make decisions about schemas, and actually even sort out dates, which is a huge issue for people. There's a lot of bad dates, just like an Indiana Jones movie out there.
That's right. That's right. And also on the FME server front, we've enabled you now to incorporate the FME server into your organization's authentication with SAML too. So now we do, you know, Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, and SAML, so that you can make sure that your FME server is controlled and authorized by your enterprise integration solution, your enterprise security solution. So yeah.
So on this one, wow, there's just been an enormous effort, and we've been going at this for, well, since the beginning, but in particular the last 7 years with a new architecture inside FME that we call the bulk mode. And as one of our partners once said, the best way to talk about bulk mode is not to talk about it at all, and it's just there. And that's what's really starting to happen. So you're going to see later on some slides talking about the different speed ups and we're really rolling that out. We're just about done rolling it out, frankly, to all the places where it would make a difference. So we're very excited about this. We'll dig into these, but FME 2022 should be a pretty giant leap forward for all of you, because the fact is, Don, how are people's data volumes these days? Are they shrinking? Do they have less data than they used to?
Yeah. So this is really going to enable you to do more, right? And we're excited to see what people are going to do with the time they save, as well as now, you can see some of the operations are literally 40 or 100 times faster, which just makes a whole new set of problems that you can attack. And the last bullet, Dale, I know you'll talk a little bit about that, but that
Yes.
is absolutely a huge one as well. So
yes,
yeah,
very big deal.
yeah.
Well, there's no shortage of systems to add to FME, and we try to listen and follow the trends and sometimes get ahead of them. And so we definitely did a bunch of work there, which we'll dig into in some later slides. But actually, we shouldn't forget about the old CAD formats, which in many ways aren't that old because they keep changing and there's new things to add and do. And so we're always on top of that as well, and working very, very hard, frankly, on all of that.
Yeah, we support many systems, and so many of them are changing constantly. And so to keep FME relevant and make sure FME is at the forefront of all the technology solutions, we're continually expanding and enhancing all our support all over. So it's super excited. Yeah. Okay, enhanced collaboration and communication.
So here we go. This is the visual compare, and we're gonna run the video here in a second. But basically, it lets you have the workspace you're working on and bring up another one that you're going to compare it to, and then you can see what's been added and deleted and merge the changes if you want to. And so that makes it easy to see what you did, easy to see what your friend did, and then also reconcile all that. Now, this is being considered tech preview in this release. That said, it's extraordinarily useful even as it is, but we know we're going to do another round on this to make it absolutely fantastic. And without spoiling too much, Don, I wouldn't be surprised if this forms a cornerstone of us soon doing revision control. But anyway, we'll roll the vid. Let's see what's going to happen here. So seeing is believing. We go under the file menu and we say compare workspace. We find our one we're going to compare against. It opens in a window on the bottom. And now there's things that are highlighted between the two and a whole deck of cards on the right hand side of the things added, modified, and deleted. If there were custom transformers, those things are in there as well. So the world analyzer isn't even in the new one, so we know that it's been taken away, and the solar system analyzer was added, so we can see it as well, and we could bring it into the main one. Now we're back at the main there, and we're going to start saying, you know what, let's actually get into merge mode by clicking that top button and go in and select a few things and merge them in, and bang, now they've been added to the top from the bottom, and it's been rediffed, and now there's nothing left that was added. We've brought them all across. Now we can go and select some things and get into the merge mode. We selected things in the canvas, go ahead and merge, kaboom. Now that's been done, and we've got all the things that were deleted brought in. Now we're left with the things that were modified, and we can take a peek even at the details of what's been changed between them. A couple new attributes been added, and if we like the look of that, we turn it on and we say merge, and kaboom, it's done. So I think that's more or less the end of the clip, and you can get a sense of what can be done. Now, this is just the start of understanding all the power that this tool brings, and we're going to be so excited to get your feedback and to continue to refine it and enhance it and make it even a bigger part of your workflows. But yeah, very, very excited.
Oh, that's super exciting. That's just going to take, the whole, we've all found a workspace and then found another one, and then we want to know, jeepers creepers, what have I done? What's different? What's, and things like that. It's just great. Or you have, you had a version that worked, and and then you have a new version, and you want to know what's changed because something broke, right? And larger organizations are deploying FME, and the ability to see really easily what's changed is so key. So yeah, that's a highlight for sure.
So one thing that people often ask, and before we move, I will mention, this comparison tool works on all workspaces going back to the year 2000. So it doesn't just compare modern ones, it'll compare old ones against other old ones. So there's no problem, but the tool itself is only in the FME 2022. So that's the deal with it.
Yep. And something, a small thing, but an important thing is now on your FME server apps, when the administrator looks at the jobs, they can actually see what user ran the job for authenticated FME server apps. In the past, you would just know who had created the FME server app, but now you can actually see the user that ran the app. So this is going to enable us to really track usage data, track the number of users, and see who are the heavy users, and you know, and those sorts of things. So that's super exciting. Yeah. Okay, flexible automation at scale. One of the challenges with automation, of course, as we integrate all these different applications, and you know, the growth of FME server apps means that the demand on the system are highly variable. They change over time based on how, you know, how busy the applications that are being integrated are, and how busy and how many users are running the FME server apps. And that is out of control, really, of the people who are deploying the server. In the old days, we did schedules, and that was pretty much it. And that was really nice because you could really decide when to run things. But now we're in this world of integrating organizations, and naturally they have busy times and quiet times. And so that's what this is all about. And so what we've done, the first thing we've done is we've given you a nice dashboard now, a server analytics dashboard, so you can zoom in and out and look at different time slots within time to see when your server is busy, and figure out how you want to you know, allocate resources. And so this is just a screenshot of the server analytics dashboard. And what we've done is we've really enabled you with job rules and engine assignment rules to be able to define where jobs go. So you could have all critical FME server apps go to a queue called you know, critical apps, and then you could have all the jobs that are FME server apps go to that queue, and then you could have engines treat that queue at a higher priority, or have CPU time, which we call dynamic engines, automatically allocate to that. So that's really a great way to ensure that, you know, the most critical applications get the work they've done. You can also do heavy processing workflows, and you could have special engines that, you know, again, CPU time maybe, that come up just to do that, so it doesn't impact the rest of your server. So we're going to talk about this in more detail at the World Tour, which is about a month from now. And so please tune in for that, and you're going to learn a lot about all these features down there, just touching, as well as some amazing customer stories. Yeah. So
yeah.
And the Zips are super excited about this, as you can tell. Yeah. Oh, data quality, Dale. This is probably something every single user of FME takes advantage of.
Yeah, we didn't set out 30 years ago to make a tool to help people with data quality, but boy, has FME ever played a key role there, and does it ever have fantastic tools for that. And so one absolutely key feature that we already talked a little bit about was the schema scanner, which lets you understand exactly what's in your data at runtime. And so you can find out what's in those columns. You can produce what we call here a best fit data output. You can understand what's going on. You can detect schema drift. You know, Elizabeth, I might ask you to post to everyone a link to the schema drift webinar that we did in the last little while, that kind of sets the stage for how you can use FME to understand and work with the definitions of data, not just the data itself. So it's very exciting, and we're pretty pleased to highlight that for this release. I think this was actually in 2021.2, most of it anyway. So if you're using the older FME, it's sitting there for you. But the new one includes a few improvements as well.
Yeah, awesome. That's super exciting. Yeah.
So as I've said to Don before, shift happens, and so that isn't really my own line. That goes back to NAD 27-83 T-shirt I saw one time, probably 25, 30 years ago. But anyway, shift still is happening, and we're pleased to be working with Esri. We got the new projection engine library in FME, and we've exposed the vertical datum stuff so that we can convert heights if you need to. So there's a bunch of grid shift files that go with that, and then they have that. And then the second thing that is going on, Don, is that time matters. So it matters where you are in the space-time continuum, and you can put a time in there. There's a few formats now that are supporting the concept of time, an epoch concept. And so we're pretty excited to bring that to customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, so time savings. And you know, this is one of the things that we're seeing with Safe since the beginning of time. Really, it's just the volume of data is just, you know, growing like crazy. And so, what one thing we've been doing for a long time is working to make every release of FME faster than the previous release. There was around 2016, 2017, I think we got a little slower, but that's because underneath this whole house of FME, we were rewiring and repiping the whole thing. Bringing you new functionality, and now we're you know, FME 21 and 22, we're really starting to see, you know, the fruits of that multi-year labor by our amazing team. So it's really
Yeah.
exciting. Well, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, Don, as has been said, if you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. We
yeah,
seem like we do that on years that end in a 7. Those of you that lived through FME 2007 and 2017,
yeah.
thank you for being with us as we did some reno. We kept you going, but boy, did we ever lay a solid foundation, and we're very, very excited about what that's going to mean for you as you use 2022.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah,
So
this is crazy because 2021 was you know, was a pretty fast release itself. And you know, yeah,
yes. So this shows how ubiquitous the so-called bulk mode, where we process things in hundreds of thousands at a time instead of one at a time, is rolling out. And there was a giant step ahead in
yeah,
this release. We've got a few more we're going to do for the .1, but then we're kind of going to declare that our push for bulk mode is over, and basically you won't have to do anything. If you upgrade, maybe you might have to upgrade a few transformers, but nonetheless, you're going to start to see the data just whipping through FME. And actually, Don, we've talked a lot about this bulk mode where we do hundreds of thousands at a time, but actually the old, in quotes, classic way FME works, that's gotten drastically faster too, and it's not probably getting enough glory. Basically, your workspaces, I would be pretty shocked if they don't have a speed up when you go to 2022.
yeah, I would be too. And it's kind of funny now, you'll be running a workspace, you'll be building a workspace, and you know, every once in a while, particularly in 2021, you'd hit something that was the old way and you'd be thinking, oh, that's so slow. But actually that used to be fast. That used to be the way. It's just this so-called bulk mode, which you don't have to do anything to enable. It's just so much faster that it spoils us really, really quickly. Yeah.
Yes, it sure does.
Yeah. And just to hear some samples, Dale.
Yeah, to give you a sense. So the most popular transformer is the tester, and we say here up to 2 times faster. There's other cases where I know that there are scenarios where it is even better than that, but that's a big one. Our friend the Clipper got a whole treatment, and so it's a lot better. In fact, there's a webinar dedicated to Clipper being planned. If you're a clipping person, watch for that coming soon. The Tyler, all the way up to 30,000 times faster. Here's looking at you, Australia. We can tile you like never before. So a bunch of things, and just sort of a sampling of other improvements in a few places. And lastly, if you're in the business of dissolving solids, you're going to be in for a treat with the new FME.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just, yeah, it's just so much. It's just so joyful to work with. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong way. There we go. And yeah, and this is a big one. We have so many users who use GeoDatabase. So, you know, the database team really worked hard on this, and you can just see the amazing impact here.
Yeah, I saw one of our partners, actually, thanks Conterra, they sent us some results of their testing that line up with these numbers exactly, and we're very, very excited to do this and basically make this so much faster for that extremely important use case.
Yeah, yeah. And this is
Yeah.
a big one, Dale. Oh, this makes just, you know, not only is it just better, it's so much easier now to make sure that, you know, you're doing the right thing.
Yes. So this is an example of something that we call a sweep, where we go through and update all of the things in FME that where it makes sense for something. The sweep has begun with Postgres / PostGIS. So Upsert is in there. And of course, Spatialite and SQLite, which we'll get to in a second. Those two also got the same treatment. But I can announce that in the .1, we know for sure Oracle Geodatabase and SQL Server absolutely will have it, and probably the other players as well. But actually, right now, those 3 are actually in the .1 internal betas that we have and are going through QA. So Upsert, again, is the ability to either update a record, but if it's not there, insert it. And that's an extremely helpful workflow that we've now made native, basically.
Yeah, so every database that supports that operation, that's the ones we want to add it to, correct?
Yes, yeah, and so that's why we're calling it a sweep, because at SAFE there's many different teams that are responsible for different formats. And when we do something like this, we have to kind of gather them all together and get them all on the same page and set them loose. And it will take a little while, but we're going to get to the end and declare victory and move on to the next sweep. And it'll just mean a uniform experience, so that if you're using FME where it makes sense, you'll have Upsert in your tool bag.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. And the start page.
Yeah, there's a good effort that was done there, and the big thing was that we're showing you full path names and big long names with that real estate, as you can see in the screen clip there, and some information about when it was last opened. If you hover over one of these, you will see a thumbnail. If it was saved with FME 2022, we now include a thumbnail of what the workspace is, so a little picture pops up. If it's not saved with FME 2022, you get a little bit of metadata. But this just makes it easier. Many of you work with a small number of workspaces over and over again, and kind of keeping track of those and being able to know which one exactly you're working with, very, very helpful. And I think the team did a great job. It's also one of the first things from our revitalized design team. I shouldn't say revitalized, it's reborn.
Yeah.
We created over the pandemic a whole design team at SAFE, added to it, and very excited to see what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The log, Don, I still kind of like a nice text file rolling by endlessly, but others on the team thought it might be helpful if you could actually go from a message in the log to the transformer that it relates to. And so we created a table there, and there's a connection now between the transformers and the log. So if there's a warning or something, you can click on those blue guys and it's hyperlinked, and it'll pan and zoom to the transformer, so you can kind of sniff around and see what's going on. So this is a big deal, and I'm a bit surprised, Don, that a table is actually faster than a long text file scrolling by. So
but I'll take your word on it, Dale. Yeah, no, this is really great, because now, you don't have all these messages interleaved, and you can zoom in on, particularly one transformer. So this is really, really exciting. Of course, even the ability what we added before was just to see the errors or the warnings, or was a big step. But this just takes it to the next level. This is super exciting, helping people debug their workspaces. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, security is something that is on everybody's mind, and for FME Server, we're happy to add SAML support. So this really makes it easy for you now to incorporate FME into your enterprise security environment. We're seeing FME Server installations get larger and larger and larger, and it's not uncommon now to have organizations with 40 or 50 engines, and so we're really excited about that. But with that, as we're moving into the enterprise, comes the requirement to make sure that FME Server really can leverage all the authentication for an organization, so that they feel secure and can sleep at night knowing that FME Server is controlled by their multi-factor authentication system that they set up. And that can be quite complicated. Some people use biometrics, other people have little sticks they have to put in the side of their machines. And by using SAML, we're able just to really leverage all of that. So now we support Azure AD, we support Windows AD, generic directory, and with SAML, and we've tested it with Okta, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and others. So if you are using SAML, we're really excited to announce that you can now use that with FME Server. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and other things we've done. Oh, sorry. Yeah, is now we've made it so that it's easy for you to have just one authorized server. You can set it up so that when a user logs in on a different machine or a different browser, that it will log out of the previous one. And that's really key, because then if a user gets up and is wondering, geez, did I leave myself logged in? They can just go log in anywhere, knowing that they'll be logged out everywhere else. So it really, and organizations like that, because then they know, where the user is, and just a great security, mechanism. So yeah, and there's broadcast messages. We have continue to improve our encryption so that all the data in flight and in the system is encrypted. And at SAFE, we are ISO 27001 compliant, and so that's important to our customers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And expand data reach. This is what we do every release, and one of the ongoing things is to expand the reach of FME so you can bring it to bear on an ever increasing number of systems. And so
Yes. So yeah, on the Spatial-lite, SQLite, the kind of embedded SQL database, we've done a complete treatment there to unify some things so that there aren't the kind of the different dialects. There's only one now. It features our fastest ever implementation, so that's very, very powerful. As it mentioned here, we can do upsert, and we got an article there that if you're doing this, you can refer to. But I would say on this one that it is laying the foundation for something extremely interesting, and watch for this in a future release. The inline courier transformer makes use of this. Let us know in the chat if you use the inline courier and if having spatial operations, so you could do SQL selects that involve spatial compares and so on in the inline courier, if that would be of use to you. I know I've seen Mark Stokes over on the experts team at SAFE doing solve some amazing problems, kind of doing this right now by writing to Spatial-lite and then later on using a feature reader. Maybe he's doing SQLite, but nonetheless, being able to query to solve problems is super powerful, and that's going to come. So this is a key one for us for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Unfolded.
Yeah, these folks spun out of Uber, and they're the ones that created the hex library, the hex, let's see, the hexagonal indexer H3 that's in FME. So if you take a look at that, if you're interested in hexagons and applying that, there's a great transformer that we did a webinar on and so on. But they also have an online analytics tool that uses this technology to deal with data in the large, and we've created a way to put data in and out of that. And they're working, I think they're now owned by Foursquare in terms of dealing with points of interest data and so on, but we do support reading and writing that thing.
Yeah.
Precisely, the makers of Map Info, one of the companies that we've worked with for a long time, and we've added their background maps into FME 2022. So if you're a customer in the Map Info or Precisely world and you like the look of their background maps, you can go ahead and use those. Very easy to configure. You do have to get an API key from Precisely. That's between you and them, but it is free to get, and then you can see their background maps as this screenshot shows.
Yeah, OGC is an area that we continue to work on. We have many users who are using OGC technology, and so we're excited to announce OGC CSW reading and writing support in FME 2022. So yeah, so that, and there are some of the more recent additions that we've done over the past year. Yeah, so I mean, the takeaway, Dale, is really spatial data is now everywhere. And there's some of these things here like BIM and 3D and point clouds and AR and VR that had in indoor mapping, but databases, XML, everything really, we're seeing spatial data just across everything. And and so this puts FME in a really sweet spot because we're the only vendor that can support this vast amount of data. And the new one that we've added, we added last year, but we continue to expand as well, is the whole real-time data. Often real-time data has a location component because it's on moving vehicles, could be trains, could be cars, could be trucks, could be mining, mining equipment. So yeah, really exciting. Yeah. Okay, FME Cloud. So FME Cloud has a brand new interface, really a great job. And Dale touched on this earlier with our design team. Our design team completely looked at FME Cloud and understood all the workflows and just re-architected the whole look of it. And it is gorgeous. It's the nicest web-based interface that we've ever built at SAFE. And I'm excited to see what this team can do when we now look at FME server, and already we've started in areas, and it's just going to be exciting. But the nice thing about this is, as you're going through a workflow, everything you need to do is right at your fingertips. You never have to go back and do something else. And just yesterday or on the weekend, I was starting a machine that I have a static IP address, and in the past I would have to start the machine, wait for it to come up, then I'd have to pause it, then I'd have to give it the static IP address, then I'd have to unpause it. Now when I'm launching the machine, I can just pick the static IP address and it just comes up, and it's just a small thing but a big thing, because it saves me a good 20 minutes every time I do it. And if I forget that step to go back and add the static IP, then of course things that are only going to accept the connection from that IP address are going to break. So just a great experience, and just a really nice job the team did there. Yeah. What's going on the mobile side, Dale?
Well, it doesn't stop. And as I like to tell Don, I think that today we're one day closer to the release of augmented reality glasses than we were yesterday. So we continue to believe that AR is going to become more and more ubiquitous, and we're ready to support any and all applications that will do geospatial data in AR. But until there are others, we are going to make our own, which we've done, and that's FME AR. And it has become very powerful. On Android, we're now caught up to iOS. So if you're an Android person, you can geolocate models produced by FME. Remember, the data can come from anywhere, so it's non-invasive. Take the data you already have, and you can use FME to transform it and be ready to use it in your AR device, whether it's iOS, a phone, or a tablet, or Android. And the front is moving on this as well, so that we're soon going to be able to also show you attributes and eventually have active models where you could tap on something and action happens. So very excited about all this. There's a webinar coming up that you can register for, where you were going to dig into this more, but the team is doing lots of great stuff. FME Data Express is a client for FME Server that integrates even more tightly with the platform that it's running on, both on Android and iOS. And it also has a set of very powerful capabilities, and it works very nicely hand in hand with FME AR. So really, really great stuff there.
Oh, sorry about that. Not sure how that happened, but okay, yeah. So on the deployment options for FME, we pride ourselves in being, you can put the FME platform wherever your data is, or whatever platform you use, whether it be on premise or regardless of any cloud, you can install FME, the whole FME platform, and do it that way. And we have many customers who have are cloud only, and they've chosen the route of self-managing and self-hosting FME server, or even the desktop that way. We have our FME Cloud, which is hosted FME Cloud, and this is the easiest way to start FME server. Literally just a few button clicks, and then you're up and running FME server on a public cloud, and it's running on AWS. And there's lots of different pricing options, hourly or an annual subscription. And last but not least, you're going to see that if you go to the Azure cloud or the Google Cloud, you're going to see the FME platform, so the whole platform there in the marketplaces, and you can just simply click a button, bring it up. And currently they're bring your own license, but moving forward, we'll work to have it so that they're hourly. We're doing some research on the best way to do that now. And of course, we'll be adding AWS in the future as well. So those are just the deployment options. There's many of them: container versus not container, serverless, you name it, however you want it. That's our goal, to give it to you with the FME platform. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so so flexible licensing options. The two most flexible licensing options that we're seeing tremendous growth on are subscriptions. And this enables you, when you have a subscription, over the year of the subscription, you can grow, change, add deployments any which way you want. And it's all included over that annual subscription. And then it's once a year, and then you engage with us and your procurement. So it just enables you to make sure that you have the FMEs you need to grow and support your organizations, to just even get more value. So it's by far the most cost-effective approach. I don't even think it's just for large. We have lots of smaller organizations that are at the beginning of their FME journey, And once people get going and they start to understand the power of the platform and pulling data and from different systems and all over and bringing it together, it's really exciting to watch what organizations are doing. And on the CPU side, on server, we have the CPU usage pricing. So rather than just buy an engine, which you can run 24/7 if you want, now with CPU pricing, you pay for the work that's done, and you could launch up to 1,000 engines. We've done that at SAFE. We did that at the World Fair last year. Or you can change them. You can have engines on-prem just sitting there to handle the peaks, and you're only going to pay for the work that is done, the CPU time that they do. And you can use this with subscriptions. You can use this with perpetual. So those really enable organizations to attack all their data challenges, no matter how variable they are or how they're growing. It's really, really great. So yeah. So so how do you get started, Dale?
Well, if you haven't used FME before, go to the safe.com/trial. If you want to try out our 2022 beta, you can go to safe.com/beta and give that a spin. And we would invite you to and give us feedback as we dot our I's and cross our T's as this moves to release. But also, if you haven't used FME before, definitely take the Accelerator course. Don, you have actually gone through that, haven't you?
Yeah, I did, and it's fantastic, and it really is an hour and a half. And the number one feedback from users is they want more, and so, but that's exactly what it is. It's a way to taste FME. It's an hour and a half, and then by the end of that hour and a half, you're going to get a really good idea of the power that the platform has, and then from there you can branch off to engage us or take more training, reach out to partners, and we're just here. This is just a good way to really get started. Yeah. And so the goal, of course, is these two things together help you understand FME, so you can start to really get value in automating and optimizing your business workflows. So
Yeah. Well, we're going to ask them. You've seen us go and do a whirlwind tour of the highlights of FME 2022. So do let us know of everything you saw today. What are you the most excited about? What's going to make the biggest difference to your work? I guess that might be a little different than what you're the most excited about, but hopefully they're the same thing. But do let us know in the questions there, and it'll roll by, and we'll kind of roll that up for people. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what people say here, Don.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, are the results are starting to pour in. Let's see. You see anything of interest there, Don?
Yeah, I mean, performance is definitely a common one. So yeah, people larger data sets. And so that's one for sure. Upcert, no surprise there, eh, Dale?
Yeah, upcert.
Yeah.
Basically, it looks like there's something for everybody here.
Yeah, absolutely. So so do reach out to us. We're getting close to the end, and we'll answer some questions. But whoa. Sorry. Yeah, so this is the Accelerator. Go there, try that. It's really a great way if you've been using FME just for a little while, or you're just new, or you've never heard of FME before. This is a great way. You don't have to install everything. You show up, you have access to an FME, and it's a free interactive workshop run by the team at SAFE. The next one is March 9th, so that's tomorrow. So
wow. Yeah.
So really great. And you can get your community badge. Today's code is right there.
If you're one of the 19,000 people that are members of the community, that'll be of use to you.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, Don, if we present it, do we get to use the code?
I think we do. I think if we wrote down that code, then we'd probably be allowed in. Yeah. I haven't claimed any badge, I got to say.
Neither have I. I probably have I've got a whole bunch that I really should get claiming.
We could go back through go back through the historical decks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So. And this is exciting, Dale. I think this is going to happen this year.
Well, one way or another, it's going to. I don't think they'll let us defer it again. This is the third kick at the can of our user conference. And I think even if it's just you and me and some of our closest friends, Don, we're going to have a party down there.
We are. So we want all of you to come and spread the word. It's the peak of data integration. So it is the FME UC, but often at the FME UC, we have folks who just want to learn about, what FME can do, what the value safe software provides. So it's not restricted just to FME users. And so with this one, you're going to see we're just saying, hey, if people want to learn about the data integration in general, come to Vancouver in August 24th to 26th. It's usually gorgeous in the summer in Vancouver, and that really is where it is, right on the water. And it's just a fantastic location to come and talk about data integration for 3 days or all week, really, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Plan your summers around it.
That's right. Yeah, we're expecting about 1,000 people. So yeah, so it's going to be great. Yeah. And of course, the World Tour starts at the end of this month. And at SAFE, we're doing it virtually, but many of our partners are doing it in person. And you can see, the 45 plus events. Those are actual events in different cities, plus our virtual one. And again, you want to learn about some of the more detail about FME 2022, and hear lots of great how people around the world are using FME. It's a lot of fun. And if you register and you show up, we give you some lunch, or you can donate it to charity. And yeah, so come and have fun and learn about all that FME can do for you. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been looking at the decks for this, and we are changing it slightly to really focus at least part of the day on the return on investment and the business value that FME brings to enterprises. And the team has done an amazing job collecting stories. One of the things we haven't done, been talking directly to users for quite a long time, and it was pretty inspiring to get a fresh set of stories to look at, wasn't it, Don, to see what people are up to and the great value.
Oh, it's so good. It's hard to pick, right? Like all the stories were just amazing. And so it's also for the user conference. If you have a story that you would like to present, please do. We encourage everybody to submit stories, and we have a big facility, so we can add tracks if we have to. But yeah, really, really great. And yeah, and there's lots of webinars coming up, and you can watch any webinar in the past. So if you go to safe.com/webinars, so if you saw this webinar, or you saw a webinar you really like or that you missed and you want to see it, you go there and you can see them all. You can also see webinars from partners, Dale, so which is great.
Yes, and they do produce some amazing ones as well. I'm always impressed with the expertise embedded in our partners, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you want to get the beta, go to safe.com/downloads, and yeah, and Q&A. So yeah, so the FME, so there's one, so yeah, reach out to us at info@safe.com. Somebody asked, when is FME 2022.0 going to be officially released? And it is going to be released in the spring. So that's that's what we're our goal, and we're going to hit that. And so not long now, but we want to get the word out early so that folks can understand all the things that are coming. We recognize that it takes time to deploy FME, particularly in organizations. And so if you know what's coming, then you can engage us and we can make sure everything's ready to go when you are. Now, we're always excited about people trying the FME 2022 beta and letting us know if they see anything that, any corners that need sanding or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So do try it out, give it a spin, give us your feedback. The team is basically tooled down, but we are just ready to pounce on anything that comes. We really are emphasizing quality with this release. There were a number of foundational changes that we really want to make sure we get right, and feeling pretty good about it. We didn't talk at all about it today, but another key thing is the international character support in FME, or the Unicode support. That's actually a big change as well. So if you are someone that works with non-ASCII characters, take the beta and give it a good kick with the meanest, nastiest characters you can come up with, and that'd be great. Don, I saw some people also asking about cesium, and we didn't highlight it here, but there's been a lot of updates in the cesium side that we could use a bit of our few moments here to cover off too.
Yeah, so we do cesium 3D tile writing now. So and now we do the whole tiling thing that is a big deal for cesium. And there's some really exciting work going on using our new technology in Japan to produce massive cesium models of Japan. So we're pretty excited about that. That is definitely something that you know could have made this slide deck easily. And yeah, so take a look out. And really, that's the point is that there's Dale and I just scratched the surface of all the ways that we've improved FME 2022. And so yeah, but cesium's a you know, a big one. So yeah, so yeah.
I think,
Oh,
Don, yeah,
go ahead.
has I3S, I think there's always work going on I3S as well. So
Exactly.
on the 3D output side, if either of those are formats you care about, let us know in the chat right now, or sorry, the questions, and we can follow up with you. Certainly Dean over on the product management side, when he wears that hat, tracks all these things, and we're really working there. I think even Draco compression is coming into cesium, isn't it, Don?
Yeah, we're working on that now, and that just, you know, makes the data volumes much smaller for you know, pushing to mobile or other devices. So yeah, yeah. And the accelerator, to find that, there's a number of questions about that. Go to safe.com, our homepage, and you'll see it pop up on the left, right in the front. And these accelerator courses are going all the time. And if you don't find, if there's a time that you want that you know, that you find these times inconvenient for you wherever you're located, just let us know and say, hey, it would be really nice if I had a time, you know, for the accelerator here. And that would be great for us. So info@safe.com is just a great way to just, you know, send us one-liners, engage us to talk about, you know, product deployments and things like that. So yeah, so yeah.
Yeah,
And when
and
are we going to have the next user conference, Dale? What's the plan? Somebody's asking after 2022. What is the plan?
well, our idea is to do it every 3 years. Often we do some sort of event in Europe in the middle there after about 18 months, but that feels like the pace that we've done in the past. But it's also hard to know. Our user base is getting much larger, and so you know I don't think we'd go more than 3 years.
No,
Let's put it
no.
that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So, and you know, every 3 years we figure that's a, you know, a good time. There's really lots that has changed in 3 years, you know, in the whole data integration space. And so we really want to make it a big deal for folks to come to Vancouver, you know, in the summer. So yeah, so
Yeah. You
yeah.
know, someone asked a really good question about which FME will be synchronized with ArcGIS Pro. And I actually don't know the answer to that, but I know the team does. But I believe that we will put out a point release the second that Pro 3 is out. So in other words, we will sync it up, and it will be FME 2022.0. something that will line up with Pro within a couple of weeks of Pro coming out. I know that the team has been keeping that in sync as we get closer to Pro being released, and so we're on top of that. And but I also can tell you it won't be a 2021 kind of descendant that will work with Pro 3.0. It'll be a 2022 one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, it seems like cesium's kind of resonating with a few people. So, again, all the questions that you've asked, if we don't answer them on the air, we will get back to you and ensure that everybody is followed up with. So, yeah. So, or if you think of something afterwards, you know, reach out to us and engage us on that too. We're really excited, and you know the challenges that you are facing better than anybody, and so we really want, it's really such an honor, and we really appreciate when you share those challenges that you have with us, so that we can work to make FME you know, better and support your data needs as time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, someone asked about Revit 2022. I'm pretty sure that we do support that now with the latest library upgrades that we did. So Chris, I do think that if you download the beta, I don't think, I know, because I even used it with a model that a friend gave me of a project that he's working on that was done with Revit 2022, and we do read that for sure. So that's in the beta right now, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 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 it's good. Lots of, yeah, so thanks everybody. And
Yeah.
yeah, so anything else, Dale?
I think we'll probably end our talking now, but we'll hang around on the Q&A if anybody wants to type stuff to us. We can type them back for a few minutes. But thanks everybody for your support. We appreciate all your input. There's so much of you that is reflected in this release. We do listen and try to incorporate as we can your ideas, your inspiration, your encouragement, you're pushing us and you're pulling us at different times, and it makes a product that's so wonderful to work with and to create for you. So we appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to seeing, many of you this year in person, whether it be at the Peak of Data Integration Conference, or at the Esri event in San Diego, or at various different events that are, that are coming up. So yeah, so take care.
Take care, everybody.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.